Hey everyone. My name is Madney, I'm 21 years old and I'm from Asia. But 5 months ago, I couldn't speak a single full sentence in English, not even how are you? Without thinking too much. I was completely lost. Today I want to tell you how I learned English in just 5 months, without any expensive classes, without going to an English-speaking country, and without wasting my time on useless methods. But this is not just my story. This is your story too. If you have ever felt frustrated, stuck, or embarrassed because of your English, keep watching. Because I was exactly where you are. And I promise, if you listen to my full journey, step by step, you'll know exactly how to improve your English. So, let's go back to the beginning, because my journey didn't start with motivation. It started with a big failure that changed my life. The moment that changed everything. I always wanted to work for an international company. My dream job was to be a software engineer at a big tech company. I loved coding. I was good at it. And I worked day and night to become the best. Finally, after years of hard work, I got my chance. I applied to a huge company in the US. The recruiter emailed me, "Congratulations. You are selected for an interview." I was so excited. I imagined my life in a new country, earning a big salary, working with the best people. But then, the interview happened. I remember it like it was yesterday. I opened Zoom, and there were 3 interviewers, all native English speakers. They started speaking, and I felt like someone had pressed fast forward on their voices. I couldn't understand anything they asked me. The first question. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and your experience in software development? I panicked. I knew the answer in my head. But the words didn't come out. I said, yes. I am, software. I do coding, many projects, good. I am very good. They looked at me. The silence felt like a knife in my stomach. They asked another question, but I couldn't answer that either. In the end, one of them smiled and said, "All right. Thank you for your time." I knew what that meant. I had failed. Not because I wasn't good enough in my field, but because I couldn't speak English. That day, I understood the power of English. It wasn't just a language. It was the key to my dream. And right now, I didn't have that key. I felt ashamed. Embarrassed. Angry at myself. For years, I told myself, I don't need English. I'll just be good at my job, and that'll be enough. But now I saw the truth. Without English, I was invisible. That night, I made a decision. I would learn English. And I would learn it fast. Most people, when they start learning English, do one thing first. They pay for expensive courses. But I didn't do that. Why? Because I had already tried them before, and they didn't work. A year ago, I paid for an online English class. The teacher made me memorize vocabulary lists, do grammar exercises, and study boring rules. But after 3 months, when I tried to have a conversation, I still couldn't speak. So I knew that expensive classes were not the answer. If I wanted to learn English fast, I needed something different. I needed a system that worked in real life. And that's when I started my 5-month method, which I will share with you now, step by step. Part 1, the first 15 days. The biggest mistake that beginners make is thinking they need more words. I thought the same. I thought, if I learn 1,000 words, I will speak fluently. But the truth is, I already knew hundreds of words, yet I still couldn't speak. So for the first 15 days, I didn't study any new words. Instead, I did something much more powerful. I started learning how to use the words I already knew. Here's exactly what I did. 1. I made a survival sentence list. I sat down and thought, what do I actually need to say every day? I wrote 50 simple sentences that I needed in real life. For example, "Hi, how are you? Can you repeat that? I don't understand. I am learning English. I need a coffee, please. Every morning, I read these 50 sentences out loud, not once, not twice, 10 times. At first, my tongue felt slow. But after 5 days, these sentences became automatic. I started speaking to myself in English every single day. Whenever I was alone, I spoke English to myself. For example, in the shower, I am taking a shower. The water is hot. I feel relaxed. Making breakfast, I am making eggs. I like eggs. They are easy to cook. At first, I felt stupid. But then I realized this was my private classroom. No one could hear me. No one could judge me. And in just 1 week, my brain started thinking in English. I practiced 5 sentences a day, but with a twist. Every day, I chose 5 sentences from movies or real conversations. I didn't just read them, I copied them exactly. I repeated them 10 times, but with the same emotion, speed, and pronunciation as the native speaker. This helped me fix my accent and sound natural. By the end of the first 15 days, something changed. I stopped translating in my head. I could say basic sentences without thinking. I felt more confident. But this was just the beginning. Part 2, the real practice begins. After 15 days of fixing my biggest mistake, I was finally ready to take the next step. I could say basic sentences without thinking, and I felt more confident. But I didn't want to just say short sentences. I wanted to have real conversations. I wanted to understand native speakers without translating in my head. I wanted to speak fluently. So I created a new plan, and this plan would change everything. If you follow it, you will improve faster than you ever thought possible. I realized something important. When I tried to speak English, my brain was slow. I knew words, but I couldn't put them together quickly. I needed a way to make speaking feel natural. So I started using a method I now call the question-answer method. This method is simple but powerful. Here's how it works. I asked myself a simple question in English. I answered it immediately, without thinking too much. I repeated the process with different answers. Example. Question: what did you do today? At first, my answer was short. I worked. But I forced myself to say more. I worked on my project. I worked on my project for 3 hours. I worked on my project for 3 hours, then I took a break. I worked on my project for 3 hours, then I took a break and had some coffee. Every time I answered, I added more details. This trained my brain to think in English and speak without hesitation. Another example. Question: what did you eat for breakfast? First answer: I ate eggs. Then, I ate eggs and toast. I ate eggs, toast, and a banana. I ate eggs, toast, and a banana because I was really hungry. I ate eggs, toast, and a banana because I was really hungry and I love eating a big breakfast. I did this every single day for at least 30 minutes. My speaking speed improved dramatically. My sentences became longer. I stopped translating in my head. Part 3, how I fixed my pronunciation. Now, let's talk about pronunciation, because this part was hard for me. In the beginning, my pronunciation was terrible. I would say things like, I want to go to the market. But a native speaker would say, I want to go to the market. I realized that learning pronunciation doesn't mean learning every sound. It means listening like a baby. So I changed my method. Every day, I listened to 5 minutes of native English. It could be a short movie scene, a podcast clip, a YouTube video. I listened to the same 5-minute clip every day for 7 days. I didn't just listen. I shadowed. Shadowing means repeating what you hear at the same time as the speaker, like an echo. At first, I was too slow. But after 3 days, I could match the speed. After 7 days, I started speaking like the speaker. The secret? I didn't try to speak perfectly. I tried to copy the music of English. Because English is like music, you have to feel the rhythm, not just the words. Part 4, How I Learned Vocabulary Without Studying Vocabulary. This might surprise you, but I never studied vocabulary. I didn't use flashcards. I didn't memorize word lists. I didn't even use a dictionary. So how did I learn new words? Simple. I learned words through context. Every day, I read and listened to things I liked. Not grammar books, real stuff. For example, I love technology, so I read tech blogs. I love science, so I watched science YouTubers. I love learning, so I read English learning stories. Whenever I saw a new word, I didn't translate it. I looked at the sentence. I guessed the meaning. Then I read more sentences with that word. This is how I learned words like reliable, software, complicated, process, shortcut. I didn't memorize them. I used them in sentences. For example, this program is very reliable. That code is too complicated. I found a shortcut to finish faster. When you use words in real sentences, they stick in your brain. So stop memorizing, start using. Part 5, How I Improve My Grammar Naturally. Grammar is scary for most learners. But here's the truth. You don't need to study grammar. You need to feel grammar. When I started, I made many grammar mistakes. I would say, he go to work. She have a car. I am study English. But I didn't correct every sentence with a grammar rule. Instead, I used 2 simple methods. 1. Sentence mining. Every day, I copied 5 good sentences from real English content. I wrote them down and read them out loud. Example. She goes to work at 9. He has a big house. I am studying English right now. By repeating these sentences daily, the correct grammar entered my brain naturally. 2. Grammar correction app. I spoke into a speech-to-text app like Google Docs or Grammarly. When I saw a mistake, I corrected it once, then practiced saying it correctly. I didn't try to be perfect. I just got better every day. Final thoughts, from failure to freedom. 5 months ago, I failed my dream interview because I couldn't speak English. Today, I speak English with confidence. I can talk to native speakers. I work with an international team. And next month, I'm applying to that same company again. But this time, I'm ready. Not because I'm naturally good at languages. I'm not. I'm just like you. And if I can do it, you can do it too. You don't need talent. You don't need expensive courses. You just need a plan and the courage to keep going. So, if you're still watching this, I want you to do one thing today. Take a notebook and write down 5 sentences you use every day. 5 questions you can answer out loud. 5 minutes of native English to shadow. And tomorrow, do it again. That's how fluency begins. Thanks for listening to my story. Now it's your turn to write yours, in English.